So at some point in the near future, we're gonna have to have some sort of music to kick this all off. But in the meantime, per- perhaps perhaps we can provide some intro music for our listeners. So I'll start the beat and you join in when you figure it out.
This
Boom.
will be interesting. Happy
Oh.
Halloween, Ben.
Hey, happy Halloween! I was about to get into the Ghostbusters theme, but I can't keep a straight face right now. That's
Oh yeah,
I was wondering what you were doing there off camera. Um,
I had to
so
surprise you.
that was wonderful. So for those of you listening, this is Koala and The Root, episode .6325. Uh, these are your hosts. I'm Koala.
And I am the root.
So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Hey, so happy Halloween 2014. I was gonna save this question, but I think you've answered it already. Are you dressing up for Halloween, and what are you dressing up as?
Well, for the podcast, I have a few different costumes, so
You're
I'm
telling
very
me there's
prepared.
costume changes.
Yes, I mean, come on. There may be a wardrobe malfunction, so I apologize to anybody watching in the future, but come on.
I suspect
Who
there'll
hasn't
be a
seen a
strong
photo?
chance
Never
that
mind.
our audience asking us to do this again when I finally have a microphone. But maybe next year. Maybe next year. So all
A
right.
microphone
So,
and
so
camera.
for tonight, you're the Stay Puft, obviously, and whatever else. So what about tomorrow night? Are you taking the young ones out for tricks and treats?
Well, Josh will be enjoying the night with his friends, out by himself. He's a big boy. He did it last year.
Wow. How was that the first time? Was that a little rough?
It was definitely rougher on my wife than it was me, but it was still rough.
Yeah.
There's a few times where we got close to, let's just drive by.
it's,
Let's just do it.
it's
You
good
won't
that
even
you
notice us.
So this year is it seeming a little bit easier?
Um, yeah, I think it'll be a little bit easier, but come when it's actually there and he's out and about town doing what he's doing, then yeah, I think it'll still be a little nerve-wracking, unfortunately. Just being a parent.
Are you taking Amelia out, or because you don't have any other young ones to go around with? It seems weird.
I think we'll just take her to the neighbors, the one up the road, one in front of us, the one down the road, and maybe the next one up the road, and that's it. And then she'll just help hand out candy.
Okay. Now, do you feel obligated when you do that to take Josh with you? Are you going to do that before he heads out so you don't seem so weird?
Uh, we would probably like to take Josh with us, but Josh is a 13-year-old boy, so chances are he doesn't want anything to do with us and wants to go with his friends. So
Well, you could offer him to provide his services for the 3 or 4 houses in exchange for, say, 10% of your loot.
that's not a bad idea. You gotta do the dad tax, you know.
You got to have the dad tax, and you know what? He's there as your hired entry card to trick or treats, but he can't get all of it. You're still a sugar daddy in town.
Right. So, Vin, we're still getting used to the whole podcasting thing and using Google Hangouts to do it, and I don't even know if this is going to work correctly. But let's give it a try. So, hold on one second.
Okay,
Do you hear that?
I do. All right, excellent. We got a dance party.
Perfect. That's all we needed. Awesome.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I hope we get more of your dance moves as these episodes go on.
I do too. I mean, I can't wait for you to get a video camera so the world can see the koala bear.
I think you think one of these days we'll have to do a Koala and Root. I'm sorry for bringing this one up. Harlem, Harlem Shake.
I think you and I will have to do. Yes, absolutely, we will have to.
Okay, I think we're gonna have to make that happen. I know that's probably what is it, 8 months old now at least, but I think
No,
we're bringing it back.
it's much older.
Well, okay, right. I mean, since the most recent explosion in the the popular culture.
I want to say Josh was in sixth grade when that was like it was around Easter time when he was in sixth grade. So that's a
Two
year
years
over
ago.
a year and a half.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was a. I guess that was quite a while. So it's time. It's time we brought it back, right? So this thing's been a tradition since what the 80s, the 70s. They've been doing that. So it's cyclical. I think there's definitely there's cause to bring this thing back. There's precedence.
I think so. It needs to be brought back.
Yeah. So hey, speaking of Halloween, um, when was the last time you went trick or treating?
As a parent, I went trick or treating. I just walked around the neighborhood 2 years ago when Josh was in sixth grade. It was
All
our
right, so
first.
that doesn't count. When was the last time you went out with your own loot sack specifically for candy?
I want to say the last time I did it was eighth grade.
Really? You ended quick. Was that your own choice to say, eighth grade, I'm, what is that, 13? Screw this. I don't need free
Probably
candy. I'll just
13.
get all the candy I want from the store or whatever. I don't know.
I I'm trying to remember. I think it was. It could have been. You know what? It could have been ninth grade because I think I was in the new neighborhood and I did it once too. Because I had two younger brothers, so I may have went out with them to supervise. But
Supervise get free candy.
exactly,
Yeah.
it may have been ninth grade now that I think back on it, but I'm not 100% sure. What about you, Vin? When was the last time you went trick or treating?
Uh, Senior year of high school. I'm fairly certain we still went out through all of high school. Um, we weren't too obnoxious about it. I think we went to maybe a half dozen houses or so, but it was more for the getting dressed up and getting together. And um, I think I wanted to in college because I wanted all the free shit I could get, but fairly certain I was bright enough at that point to realize that that's not a thing you do anymore. It took me until then, but I got there.
That's okay. Now, when you were in college, you didn't do it in the city of Boston to maybe get some free loot.
No, no, that would have been cool, but I actually had um, I wound up with plans for Halloween my freshman year of college, quite unexpectedly. There was a girl, a friend of my brother's, who was the best way I can describe her is and as lovably as possible is she was eccentric. She was the daughter of an incredibly wealthy man. I remember one day in a year or two later, she was like, "You got to come here. You got to come see this." She rushed me into the nearest bookstore to grab the latest issue of Forbes to show me the picture of her father on the cover.
Oh
She's like, "There's
wow,
my dad." Wealthy, wealthy family. Um, eccentric, eccentric. I think it's one of those conditions where, there's so much, I don't know, disconnection from reality or something. I don't know. She was. I don't want to say too many stories in case it gets too personal and someone could look her up. I don't mean to give away identities here, but she was a crazy girl. Really cool. A lot of fun to hang out with. Eccentric, crazy, fun. Freshman year of college, my brother introduces me to her. She's super outgoing, super social, and so she kind of adopts me because Ken's so cool. She's like, "Hey, Ken's brother must be cool too." And she just happened to have extra tickets to go see Fuel down the street from the Fenway. I forget the name of the bar at the time. Uh, I had no clue who Fuel was. I think I'd maybe heard their song once or twice, but um, I wasn't too hip into music until Napster came around about 6 months later, and I finally had instant access to music.
wow, it's Throwback Thursday on that one, Ben.
Right?
Napster. I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah, this is Napster 1.0. This is like the original Napster before music sharing was a thing. And so it was a Halloween concert. There were people dressed up in costumes and everything. And here I am, a poor college student, in the middle of Boston, with about 4 hours to get together a costume. And I was feeling pretty lazy, so um, I went to CVS. I bought a box of garbage bags, figuring I would use the rest of them throughout my college career anyway. Um, a plastic knife and some fake blood. And I cut a couple holes in the plastic bag and I pulled it over my body. I wrapped myself up in some duct tape. I taped the knife into the bag to look like it was hanging out, and then I covered myself in blood, and I was a dead guy stuffed in a garbage bag.
That's pretty impressive for 4 hours. I would have just got a pack of fake blood and had it dripping down my lip or something.
So here I am in college. Little country boy in the big city. I have no clue what I'm in for here, and I go to this. Well, it's essentially a party performed by Fuel, and the costumes were ridiculous. There was a guy in this monster costume on stilts that was looked like something off of a movie set. And if you've ever seen the movie The Dark Crystal, there were
I don't think I have.
that was an old Jim Henson film. Lots of animatronics, actually all animatronics, all Muppets basically. There was a guy dressed up as a Skeksis, so you'd have to look this up, and the story kind of falls flat if you haven't seen this. But there's a guy dressed up as a Skeksis and a guy and a girl on a leash dressed up as the heroine from the story. And I mean, these costumes were just out of this world. And here I am in $1.50 worth of supplies, watching Fuel, going, "What the hell am I doing here?" So that was the last time I really did Halloween. And every year after that, it was just a non-event. Halloween was never really that big for me, other than the candy, because fat kids love candy.
Well, I've heard you had some other good Halloween costumes at some parties from some of the stories you've told in the past.
Um, I was the world's laziest Halloween goer one year. So this was back in this must have been like 10th or 11th grade. We'd all congregate at AK's house, and we'd go out. And so I just basically took a piece from every single sort of costume you could get. So I had like a hard hat and a ninja sword and just all sorts of stupid shit. And then I just made myself some kind of composite character. It was pretty. I'm good at lazy costumes. A couple years ago, I discovered that when you go to parties, it's a lot more fun when you come home to not have to like get out of all that shit. So
Right.
one year I went as the world's laziest cage fighter, and I put on my pajamas, I put on my bathrobe, and I put on a pair of boxing gloves, and I went to the party. And because nobody expects you to spend the entire night with boxing gloves on, it was totally appropriate to throw them in the corner, and there I am at the party in my pajamas, get home, go right to bed.
That is spectacular. You're a smart man then.
Listen, I've been around. Um, yeah. So I guess my favorite recent Halloween story was a party we threw a couple years back after Jeff and Eric first moved into that house. Um, I dressed up as one of the things from Where the Wild Things Are. No, I lied. I'm sorry. My girlfriend at the time dressed up as one of the things. I dressed up as the little boy, which was great because he wore footed pajamas, which meant I get to buy footed pajamas and walk around with a fake crown and a scepter, which, again, nobody expects you to carry that all night. Throw it in the corner. What am I doing? I'm wearing my footed pajamas to a party. That was fantastic until the point. So I went to two parties that year, one night after the other. The first was at Kevin's house. The next was at Jeff and Eric's, where I was staying, where I was living. And actually, there may have been one the night prior to all that. And what I discovered is when I put those footed pajamas on, they were sort of revealing in the crotchetological area. And so for the first two nights, including the night I went to Kevin's house, I put on a cup for the sake of humility. Just to kind of, not necessarily flaunt what I got. 'Cause I ain't much. The third night at the house, I was lazy and I was half drunk by the time I started getting dressed, so there was no cup involved. Well, I guess Kevin didn't really notice that because he went to tap my cup, and he.
Well, if I know Kevin, I'm sure it wasn't much of a tap.
Okay, it was a wind up with a Wii remote right into the junk. I dropped to the couch and I stayed there for about 30 minutes. I think he and I were playing the Wii Sports Resort, and so, even in my excruciating pain sitting on the couch, I think I still beat him at the sword fighting mini game. So I was quite proud of that. I think he may have even screamed "spicy chicken teriyaki" as he did it. So yeah, those are some of my Halloween memories. How about you?
I'm trying to. I don't have many. before I get started, what was your favorite costume out of all the costumes you had? Whether you were 5 years old, whether you were 25, 35, what's your favorite Halloween
Ooh.
costume you ever wore?
All right. I've got so many. So I think I need to list them all out, and then you can help me narrow them down. The very first thing that popped to mind was my lobster outfit. And it wasn't one of those, like, fabric lobster things. Nah, nah. My mom took me to the library one day, and in the young adult section, of course, I think I was like 9 years old.
Ooh, you're badass. Going a little early.
The point being, I was a dumb little shit. I found this book for homemade kids' costumes, and I saw this lobster. And basically, what they had done was taken a whole bunch of cardboard boxes and cut them up into a big lobster suit. And I thought that was the coolest fucking thing ever. My poor dad had to figure out how the fuck to assemble this thing, how to fit me in a car to take me trick or treating. Because you've seen where my house is. There's no trick or treating around there. We had to go to another town to a friend's house where they had a small neighborhood. So I had to be packed in the car for 15 to 20 minutes wearing this giant box spray painted red. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome. My dad he's a champ. He put up with a lot of our shit. A couple of boys growing up.
Yeah, Mama Kowalczyk can find some pictures of that so we can maybe post it to the blog and
I will take a look. So I think I've been through all the photographs that still exist of the Kowalczyk family, and I don't recall seeing any of those. But I will see what I can do. I definitely think it's about time I dig some of those out anyway.
That would be amazing.
Several years before that, I must have been in the first or second grade. This is the admission that only people who knew me then and would remember this would actually know. So this is going deep, dark, Vin past here. Something I've never admitted to anyone.
Whoa, this is big. This is breaking news, people. No one else knows besides the select few, and you guys get to be the first to hear.
So let me preface this with another short story. When I was in preschool, I did not realize that when you grew up, you couldn't be anything other than a human being. And we had just gotten back from the circus, and I wanted to be a tiger so bad.
What?
So it wasn't 2 years later for Halloween that I wanted to be a witch. And God bless my parents. They bought me the hat. They bought me the nose. They bought me some green face paint, and I dressed up as a witch. I don't know why. It was just a cool thing, and so I loved that costume. Let's see. I liked being. I can't remember if I dressed up as this or Ken did. I think Ken did, and I was really jealous. He dressed up as a video game character called Rygar. Actually, come to think of it, I think we dressed up as quite a few video game characters in our time. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 2.5 there. The witch, the lobster, and it was either me or Ken as Rygar. Those are my favorites. So of those three, which do you think was probably the absolute most adorable young koala?
I think it's got to be the lobster. I can't even picture it in my head. I need to.
I'm gonna see if I can find any pictures of anything remotely like this online. But while I do that, I think I've spoken enough. I think it's your turn. Talk to me about your favorite costumes.
So my favorite costume, back when I think it was kindergarten, maybe preschool, so maybe when I was 4. Huge fan of the Ghostbusters. My mom handmade a Stay Puft Marshmallow.
That's
outfit.
Amazing.
It was spectacular. So when I met my now wife, I was telling her about how amazing Halloween was, and my favorite costume was Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So one year back in 2009, I dug up a picture actually to show the let's see. Sorry. To show everyone how awesome it is. And I think if you should be able to see it.
Oh, wow.
That was
amazing.
We created the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and I'm actually wearing it now. But I was a Stay Puft Marshmallow.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not even looking at that. I'm just looking at the number of tabs you have going on in Chrome. Holy cow.
I'm trying to post a podcast, and I still can't figure out how to do it. So each one of these One's the blog, or two are the blog. One's how to post from Drive. One's the inbox. One's another one. One's some research. It goes on. I apologize.
I'm busting your rocks, dude. I love that outfit. I love that costume. I think that's
Yeah, it
fantastic.
was spectacular. We my wife did the bib. She made the hat. She created the her own costume. So we did the Ghostbusters thing. You can't see because my big marshmallowy gut is covering it, but she even had her name across the pocket, so it looked like she was one of the Ghostbusters in the black and red lettering.
Nice.
It was absolutely spectacular. So we recreated my favorite costume growing up, and then made it even better.
That is phenomenal.
So it was absolutely amazing. Some of my other costumes growing up, I think the year before, I think I was let me turn screen share off. But the year before, I was actually, I think I might have been a Ghostbuster. I was a really big fan of the Ghostbusters. Have you
That's awesome.
watched it recently?
Yes, I have actually. It's fantastic. It still holds up.
It really does hold up. I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. And I was bragging to my son, when he was around the time we were making this costume, I'm like, dude, this is the best movie ever. We gotta watch it. I think I found it at Best Buy, the 2-disc set for like maybe $10. I was so excited. Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2. We start watching it. It's a really good movie. I'm loving everything. Egon, absolutely everything. And then there's a lot of adult innuendo in the
Oh
movie
yeah.
that
It's dirty.
I had no idea about growing up. I
No
was almost
clue,
upset
right?
at my mom for subjecting me to some of the stuff that was going on.
That's awesome.
Did I have any idea what was going on when he was raised off of the bed and his belt buckle was undone?
Nope. And then
I
flipped
had
around and
zero
placed
idea
back
that was.
down.
And it was absolutely shocking, especially being a parent. It's like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm gonna watch with my son, and you're like, oh god, I hope he doesn't ask any questions.
That's awesome.
Yes, it was very cool, but it was very nerve wracking.
Sure,
Just
sure.
yeah, it was it just all those old movies that you watched as a kid, and something like, wait, I what I didn't this no,
It's
it's
funny.
just very
Dead silence. It's
we'll have to edit that out.
no, no, we don't edit in the show. That's not how we roll. We give you the raw deal, folks. Um, yeah, my folks were pretty liberal with what they let us watch. In general, they would want to watch it before we saw it. And
Well, that was
what?
before the internet. IMDb now, you could check a movie on IMDb, you can see what the parent reviews are. Bam, you're done, and if you need to skip a part, they even tell you the time to skip it.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. That's impressive. What my folks would do is they would watch it if they could, and if they couldn't, they'd just be careful. And as soon as a scene came up that they didn't want us to see, usually if it involved nudity or extreme violence, they would say, "Okay, cover your eyes." And we were on our honor to cover our eyes and not watch. Of course, we could hear everything that's going on,
Right.
and then they'd be like, "All right, you can watch it now." And you know what? Dutifully, I did every single time. I think it wasn't until toward the very very end that I finally tried to peek a little bit.
So really, you didn't peek it off. My parents did the same thing. It's like, cover your eyes. I would, and then I'd cover them. But then, like, after a little bit of time, and they still told me to not cover them, I do a little bit.
I think they must have convinced me early on that they were watching close enough that they could tell. 'Cause I didn't dare look until I was basically before they said, all right, whatever. But I saw some
So
pretty
basically, they stopped telling you last year, right?
yeah, once I moved out. Yeah, but I mean basically I'd seen so many of these intense, ultra violent, fantastic movies. I made Becky watch one a couple weeks ago. We watched Total Recall. It's a fantastic movie.
The
But even
original, right?
still, yeah, the original. I cannot figure out how in the world my parents were okay with me watching that movie, even covering my eyes for the extreme violence, because that movie is it's intense. But I love it. It's great. Halloween. So, Ghostbusters. What else?
This was a very weird costume that I'm wearing right now.
Ah, I was tabbed out. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
This was Josh's costume a few years back, and he was all about Minecraft. He still is. He loves it. But it was possibly the worst costume ever
Why is that?
because it doesn't stay on your head.
Now, where are the eye holes?
They're right here.
Oh, clever, clever. Yeah,
So
you
you
need to
almost
like
have to walk like a zombie with your shoulders up to keep it even the least bit on your head.
you need to install a hard hat in there, so it's got like the head netting and everything, so it stays on your head just right. And
That would be the right thing to do.
yeah,
So the even crazier thing about this costume, it's a box. It came flat. You had to fold it yourself. This little cardboard box, pixelated box, was like $30.
holy, $30?
$30 for a pixelated box.
That is ridiculous.
That's absolutely insane. I just had to show it, and you know what? He wasn't the only one wearing it. There was a one of his friends had a what are the green guys called? I can't remember.
Oh, this. Yeah, I don't remember. I was about to call them the Skeeters. I don't know why. Um, yeah, they
Well,
call
if
them the Lowe's,
anyone's
but
watching live, please email us and let us know. If not, email the show and we'll find out sometime in the future. I don't know.
sometime, yeah.
That's yeah, but so yeah, but it was the worst costume because literally he would walk around, ask me to carry it. I want to carry it because hey, it's your thing. You got to wear it. So he'd have to take it off and then put it on when he got to the door, and then take it off again. And then no one even knew what the heck he was because what kind of people answering the door know what Minecraft is.
Exactly. Yeah. They were called creepers, by the way.
You are wow, good job, man. I was about to look it up, but you're fast.
Yeah, it's what I've been accused of quite a few times.
Oh.
Oh. So hey, Halloween. Okay, so we talked about
Now, some
Halloween
of my
stuff.
other costumes, I played football growing up. It was during football season. I was definitely a football player quite a few times. Um, every once in a while, I'd be a zombie football player, a little black eye, white face, blood down the lips or whatever, and bam. Um, I was really excited one year to be a vampire. I
Oh
was so
yeah.
excited. I had the cape. I had the fangs. My mom was gonna do my makeup. It was so awesome. I was so pumped about it because you look at magazines. Obviously, there wasn't internet or it wasn't widely used, so you couldn't check out Pinterest or Google Images for ideas and stuff. But I had this like picture in my head of how amazing my vampire face would be, and I liked it, but I was like so disappointed that it wasn't like Face Off quality.
Right.
Face Off is that reality show where they do makeup and stuff. But I was like so upset that it wasn't like, how come it doesn't look like this magazine? This is like so. I wanted it like this.
Aw.
But yeah, it was cool. She did an awesome job. I mean, it's not like she went to makeup school or anything. So
Damn it, Ma.
come on. Some of the other, gosh, I can't remember many more. Recreating the Stay Puft is definitely up there. One year I went to a party as an adult. I went as a pimp in a purple suit with the pimp
Of course
hat.
you did.
I even had a cane, but that got dangerous. Um, and then I was Beer Man one year, which was pretty. It was just a costume I got off Amazon. It's basically a big blue suit, shirt top says Beer Man on the top, and then I had a yellow cape and a belt that could hold beers. So that helped.
Nice.
Yeah. So what's Kelsey gonna be this year for Halloween?
I'll give you one guess.
Does it have to do with Frozen?
You're very good. You're very good, you.
Oh,
Yes, she is going to be Princess Frozen.
do you know the princess's name? 'Cause I don't.
It's one of the two, either Anna or Elsa.
Probably Elsa. I think Elsa's the more popular one.
Which is weird because isn't she like the bitch with the stupid powers that like frees everyone, and Anna's like the one who's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna save the day, woo!"
I don't know. I've never actually seen Frozen.
You really? Oh well, you're lucky. I mean, it's a good Disney movie. It's a return to form. Um, but there's a song that song is just it's grating. It can be grating.
I've heard of it. Coworker at work, his daughter has seen it like 300 something times. It's absolutely crazy. I know. I'm going down that road in about a year. Right
Yeah,
now,
it won't be too long.
oh yeah, Amelia's too busy running around like a mad woman. But when that time actually comes, it's gonna be a whole lot of Pixar, a whole lot of Frozen, a whole lot of everything. But I'm fine with it. I mean, sure, I'll
Hey,
get sick of it, but Pixar's absolutely amazing.
oh, it's yeah. I don't think you'll get sick of most of that. It's just there's some songs that they don't they don't they don't last. A couple times in, you're like, okay,
Oh, this isn't that bad. Yeah.
yeah,
And
and
then you
then
watch it again, and bam, it's like, oh.
and then again, and then again, and then again. Yeah. So you'll learn all about that.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not that far behind. Josh wasn't big into movies growing up, so he never watched things over and over.
Really.
Yeah. Some of Josh's best costumes, Lindsay one year made him a monster truck. I wish I could find the pictures of that and show the world, because he would love me for that. But she took a box. She made the whole entire box look like the outside of the box was a monster truck. She made wheels for it, and then she made like suspenders that attached to the box, so he would walk around with the box. It was really really cool. Another year, the same year I was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He was Indiana Jones.
Okay.
I don't remember any others for some reason. It's just not coming to me.
Hmm.
He was Steve from Minecraft. Last year, I can't think. It's just not clicking.
Hmm. That's okay.
Yeah. So you were just talking about Disney movies. Have you heard the news?
The Marvel news?
Yes.
Yes. So they're up through 2019 now, right?
Isn't that spectacular?
Well, so DC released their plan a week or two ago. So it was we were due for an update. I think what's blowing people's minds the most, one of them I think most people knew about already was Doctor Strange. I think a lot of people also knew it was likely that Benedict Cumberbatch would be playing the role of Stephen Strange. But what people were really excited for, and I suspect my brother might be one of them, was
Is
the
it Ant-Man?
no. So we knew about that.
Yes, we. I was just messing. I see. I'm not huge into comics. I've always wanted comics when I was growing up, but my parents never would either take me, or it just wasn't something that I ever fully got into. But
Yeah.
this whole I just wish I knew more of a backstory with all the with all the movies that are coming out. Because I'll start chatting with someone like you or another one of my friends who was a lot more into the comics, and they just start telling you all this backstory and bam, bam, bam. I just wish I knew more of that backstory.
So the good news is you're going to get that. You know, we've got these movies coming out, and they're giving you that backstory, which is really cool. But this actually brings me around to one other thing I wanted to bring up. There's a YouTube channel I found not too long ago called Watch Mojo, and they do a lot of top tens. You know, top 10 pop anthems of all time, or the top 10 scariest movies, or whatever. They do a really good job with it. But what I've also noticed is every once in a while they'll do like a primer on a comic book character, and they're usually going for the more obscure ones. So most recently, I saw one posted for the Taskmaster, and I've only known of his existence from a very short series my brother gave me a few years ago for my birthday, which was a fantastic read, and the comic book trading cards from like 1992. So what might be considered a rather obscure character to people who aren't into the Marvel Universe, you know, someone like you may not have even heard of him. There's a video telling you all about where this guy came from. they've got all kinds of it. It's not just Marvel too. They've got like the DC characters. They talk about the history of the Suicide Squad. It's pretty neat. So it's worth a view. You could probably find a
I have
couple.
to give that a try.
Take a look because you'll probably find some of these backstories that you're looking to hear. Really well presented and pretty interesting.
That's really cool. So with the announcement between Marvel and then DC made their announcement a few weeks earlier, which one do you like more? Which do you tend to gravitate more to?
Well, that's yeah, that's a tough one because DC hasn't they haven't done what Marvel's done yet, and they're ramping up to. So what Marvel's done is they've created the Marvel comic universe in films. I believe they're referring to it as the MCU, the Marvel comic universe. They've created this world in movies where they've introduced characters and they are intersecting them in various ways, and a lot of ways mirroring what they've done in comic books. You've got, you go and you pick up your Spider-Man comic book, you pick up your Avengers comic book, you pick up your Captain America comic book, and then one day you're picking up the first in the Avengers Disassembled series or the Civil War series, where this universe that these characters have lived in collide, or even just in the character proper's comics of their own, intersecting with other superheroes just showing up and taking each other on. Marvel's doing this with their films now, and to date, there was no similar DC universe. There were DC movies. We have a lot more than people recognize because of the various names that DC carries, like Vertigo and Dark Horse. But of the big names of the DC proper superheroes that we think of, Superman, Batman, Catwoman, these movies never intersected. They were wholly self-supporting on their own, and it's not until we see Zack Snyder's Dawn of Justice, Batman versus Superman, where we're starting to see characters from two different franchises that will continue in their same franchises with their own continuity that intersects with the rest of this reality. And they're starting to do this both in film and on TV. They've got Arrow, they've got The Flash, and they've got Gotham. But their approach is a little bit different, and they're a little bit late to the game. So it's hard to say that I like DC movies better than Marvel or vice versa, because my mind is predominated with the Marvel movies of late and how good they've been, including Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think I might declare here is my favorite Marvel movie so far.
Well, that's a big declaration there, Ben. I'm impressed.
Guardians of the Galaxy was a lot of fun. Did you get out to see that?
I did. I actually I went to Boston with my son for a lacrosse game to see the Boston Cannons, and we were looking for something else to do in Boston. There was a Red Sox game going on in the city, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to even get close to that. And besides the aquarium, it's hard when you go to a city. It's hard. It sounds weird, but it's hard to find stuff to do.
Well, especially with a younger kid.
But it's hard to actually select what you want to do.
Absolutely.
So I'm a huge Patriots fan. I know, the Patriots Stadium wasn't that far away. Maybe 20 minutes. It's kind of on the way home, kind of not. So I'm like, well, let's just go there. We'll grab a bite to eat there. They have restaurants, Five Guys, Red Robin, whatever we want to do. We can grab something to eat. They have a movie theater. We can check out the Patriots store. Just enjoy it, and we'll get home whenever we get home. And I know they had the movie theater, so I'm like, I want to go see this movie. My son did not want anything to do with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Boo.
He thought it was so stupid. He's like, why the heck is there a talking raccoon? This is so stupid. I don't even want to see it. And I'm like, dude, we're going. We're here. Just trust me. And he's like, fine, whatever. He still didn't want to go as it started. Then he gets out, and he's like, that was spectacular. So I'm glad I took him. But I saw it when we went out to Boston and on our way home. It was hard, though, because we went to a later showing, and we didn't even get home until, I want to say, 1 in the morning because of it. Because it was a 8:30 showing. It ran till 11:30, and then I had a 2-hour ride home after that. It was just brutal, but it was so worth it. It was so spectacular.
It's a good one. I'm glad you got to see it in theaters.
Yeah. Have you, before we get back onto the comic movies and stuff, comic book movies, not comic movies.
Uh,
Have you ever gone to one of those high class movie theaters with like the huge reclining sofas where
I
it's
have
like $30
not.
a ticket?
No, I have not.
Because they have one at the Patriots Stadium. It's called Patriots Place, and they have a lot of Patriot players that go there after practice. They'll meet their family, and I've seen some of the players post pictures, and I'm not gonna lie. I was so tempted to go spend the $40 per ticket, but I don't think the wife would have fully approved of it.
Yeah, that's a tough one to justify.
But it seems so cool. I've seen pictures of it before, and it was very, very tempting. But one of these days, one of these, maybe for Guardian of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, there you go. So when is that one? That one's like 2017, right?
Right.
So we got some time. We'll have seen episode 7 many times between then and now.
Absolutely.
Very excited.
So yeah, I mean I agree with you as far as the differences between the Marvel and DC universe. I just find it I've done a small amount of reading of the differences between the two. And one thing that I think Marvel does better is the way their movies are. You know, it's a serious movie. It has its comedic twists in it where you're laughing, but then it gets tense again. You have your action. Where DC doesn't have a clear vision of how they want their movies to be.
Well, they don't have a unified vision because they haven't done this yet. So, um, I think what they're going to do is tend more toward what Nolan brought to us in his darker Batman series, and they're going to build a serious universe around that. But we haven't seen that yet. We just haven't had the opportunity to see, and that's why I think it's not necessarily a fair comparison yet.
True.
And Marvel's been doing this now since when? What was the first? The first movie was Iron Man. Iron Man 1. So it's been a while. It's
Yeah. It's
we
been
got
about what, like maybe 8 years?
yeah, that sounds about right. So DC's got to catch up, and they've got a lot of catching up to do.
With the direction they're going, though, I unfortunately I haven't seen the Superman movie, but from reviews and their sense of direction is towards the darker side, but it doesn't necessarily build enough story. But again, this is just from reading reviews. You could read one review like that, and you could read a review the complete opposite. But it just from I don't know if that's necessarily the right direction for DC, but you also don't want to follow what your competitor's doing. It's just hard to bring kids to from a kid's standpoint, from a parent standpoint. I had a hard time bringing Josh to the Batman movies in the movie theater because they're a lot more violent, they're a lot darker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just very different, and I think that's why Marvel's so successful because whether your kid's 5 or whether your kid's 13, you can take them and they're going to like it both ways. Where if you take a 5-year-old to, Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, it could be scary for them. And I myself, I don't think I would have brought Josh when he was 5 to see The Dark Knight. It's just so dark and
Yeah, it's way too young.
yeah. I'm a Marvel guy. I definitely like what they're doing, and I can't wait for all these movies. And I find the Captain America Civil War very interesting. It's nice to see them. There's going to be a face-off of some sort between him and Iron Man, is what I have read, and it seems pretty. That's exciting to see where they're not all together at all points.
Yeah, it is. That's a good story. I think we're in for a treat with that one.
Have you read the Civil War
I
comic?
have, I have. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't read it in a while, but it's pretty good. If memory serves correctly, um, you've seen if you've watched any of the X-Men movies, you've seen part of the Marvel universe where you've got mutants, and there's a lack of trust and acceptance of these mutants. And there comes sort of this tipping point where there's a group of Marvel characters are all for a piece of legislation that's being voted in for a mutant registration process. Basically, anybody with superpowers has to be registered and trackable at all times. Um, so you've got the camp that's all for that, and you've got the camp that's all against that. And you can imagine, quite the hot topic. It incites war, and it's a downright war between these two opposing factions of good guys, of people who they're both trying to do what they feel is absolutely right and what is best for the people of the world, including themselves and people like them. Um, it's a really great story. It's going to be interesting to see that on the big screen.
It's exciting, very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. When I first read it, I'm like, how this is going to be lame. They're going to send somehow Captain America is going to go back to the Civil War, and what Tony Stark created a time machine or something. I mean, that's going to be a little weird and lame. But I was after kind of reading what I can't remember what the name of the Captain America. Oh, Chris Evans. What he said about it. I kind of thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
So
I think you're going to enjoy it.
awesome. Well, before we wind up, I had one more question regarding the Marvels. Um, what is Inhumans?
That's a good question, and normally that sort of question I would turn over to my brother Ken. Um, they are a
Do you
superhero
want to give
team.
him a call? We can add a minute to it.
We, we could. It might be a little too late. I would have to go to the Marvel Wikipedia to look them up. I don't know much about them other than I believe they are a part of the Marvel Cosmic Universe. Um,
Okay.
I think they're a superhero team. Were they announced?
Yeah, they're for November 2nd, 2018.
Interesting. Okay.
One of the things that I kind of read, because unfortunately, when Marvel first started out creating movies, they signed on with other distributors like Sony or Fox, and Fox owns X-Men, so they're doing all the X-Men movies, and Sony unfortunately owns Spider-Man, and that's why we can't see Spider-Man in the Avenger movies. But I believe from some of the small amount of reading I did when this announcement was made, this is another version of the X-Men where it's the people with the powers and they're kind of brought together by maybe not a professor of some sort, but they have the same type of story. But I, like you said, I think it is within a cosmic universe, but it's
Yeah.
very
So
similar to what the X-Men are.
what I'm seeing here is they're a race of superhumans. They show up in a bunch of different comics. They had a set of their own. Um, they first showed up in the Fantastic Four back in 1965. Um, so I think they are their own. They're their own thing. It's not like they are some sort of alternate universe or anything like that. They're just. Um, let's see. There's Black Bolt. He's the king. There's a royal family consisting of Medusa, Karnak, Gorgon, Triton, Crystal, Maximus the Mad, and the canine Lockjaw. Crystal and Medusa have been members of the Fantastic Four, interestingly enough. And Crystal was a member of the Avengers as well. So they're their own people. But yeah, I'm seeing names popping up here like Doctor Doom, Apocalypse, Ronan the Accuser, which we saw in um, Guardians. Um,
Okay.
Korea's popping up everywhere. So yeah, these guys definitely seem like they fit into the cosmic universe. And when by the time we get to the Avengers 2, I think we're meeting up with Guardians of the Galaxy at that point somewhere and launching into the Infinity Stones with Thanos and all that cosmic stuff.
That's pretty awesome. It's
Yeah.
getting me excited. Unfortunately, the one thing, it's just bad timing when a lot of these come out, and I never actually get to see them in the theater, and I'm always upset at myself of it. If you don't see it like within the first week, I almost kind of forget about it, and then bam, it's too late, and I wait for it to come out on DVD and rent it or on Amazon or whatever.
That's unfortunate.
It really is. That, or really want to go see it with my son, and then he ends up going with a friend to go see it. So it's like, what about me?
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna come a point where it's not cool to go hang out with Daddy anymore, and then he'll come back around eventually.
That point has come. That point has come and gone. We still see spurts of it, but yeah, it's a reality.
Yeah, it's growing up.
Yep. Oh well. Well, that was our longest podcast to date. Then
I
I think it's
easily the longest.
it was filled with excitement though. I really loved hearing your Halloween stories and Marvel and everything else. It was spectacular. It's definitely our
I loved
best
your content.
podcast to date.
Definitely, definitely. Let's hope that it's only uphill from here.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to thank everybody for joining Koala and The Root. If you have any, you can check out our Google Plus page, our YouTube page, where we post all our videos, and then upload the audio to hopefully iTunes at some point. If we can figure that section out. But it was a pleasure, Koala.
It was absolutely a pleasure. I can't wait to do this again next week.
Me too. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you guys next week, and feel free to email us at koalaandtheroot@gmail.com.
Whew.
Stay classy, San Diego.